Welcome to the ACHIMA 2022. Welcome to our joint booth here from Böcker Automation, Böcker Machinery Division, Feige Filling and Aventus. Time's running fast and you always have to keep your equipment up to date. But that does not mean that you have to invest in new equipment to stay competitive. You can actually prolong the life of your equipment and even optimize it. Let's check out how this works. I will have a short talk now with two experts live from Oelde. Uwe Golkowski and Guido Lichtenfeld are there now. Uwe Golkowski is the head of the Machine Conversions Group and Guido Lichtenfeld, the group leader of safety and engineering, responsible for product safety and explosion protection. Hello from Frankfurt.
Hello to Oelde.
Great to have you. Uwe, I mentioned it already. Böcker has an entire department responsible for rebuilds and upgrades. What are the advantages of rebuilding a plant instead of investing in a new one?
Yeah, we at Böcker knows that the existing combined with the modern is sustainable and get a longer life for the entire machine. And this is perfectly fit to our PROCHECK circle and to our rebuilds and upgrades. What we mean with this? Upgrading a machine is to install new equipment into a well-designed and well-produced machine which is just in the market, and to prolong its life. And therefore we check the possibility of retrofit, and if there is a bigger retrofit, we compare it as well with a new machine. This will be discussed with our colleagues in the machine salary department, so we can offer the best solution for our customer, and he can decide whether he goes with a retrofit or with a new machine, and the investment will then be for him as well very good, and he has a good opportunity to have the best solution for the entire machine. Rebuilds and upgrades are divided in two major groups. The first column we have are the critical components. These are components which were no longer produced, and therefore the spare part availability for the existing parts are no longer given. So examples for this are the motors, electronic devices, pneumatic devices, cylinders, pneumatic valves, and as well operating panels, which were then delivered with the new equipment. And on the other hand, we have the second column with the our Performance Plus kits. These are kits which were not necessary and maybe not already installed when the original machine was delivered. And the examples for this are our ultrasonic sealing device here for the sealing of valve bags, for clean sealing of valve bags, and our dosing system, Rotolock, which have a quick filling and a dust-free filling.
Okay, so a lot is possible.
Of course, we will also have new equipment for safety devices, but for this, my colleague Guido Lichtenfeld can
thank you. That's
explain a little bit more.
Yeah, when it comes to safety, I think that's very important to talk about the safety topic, especially explosion protection. I mean, human lives depend on it. So how does Harvan Böcker support their customers when it comes to explosion protection?
Yeah, you must see safety and customer satisfaction is very important to us. And so everything started with a risk assessment. So we want to make sure that everything is safe on the machine, even if we have maybe rotating parts in the machine. So the customer or maintenance people should not be injured or crushed their fingers or whatever. So we build safety functions, maybe and cover with a safety switch or something like this to avoid uninspected starter. When we talk about explosion protection, it's very important for us to use equipment which is made for use in explosive areas or for explosive products. So we start even with, for the electrical parts, we use certified equipment, and for the mechanical parts, we do an ignition risk assessment to avoid any ignition sources. So our customers can be sure that the machine is according to the national standards and regulations, and that it's safe. And even in the topic of explosion protection, all the machine and the equipment is tested and certified by a notified body.
So if you want to modernize your machine, what has to be taken into account regarding explosion protection?
Yeah, we have to know about the specification and the product of the customers, and if we know about the values, for example, minimum ignition energy or the ignition temperature of the product, we can design and do the layout of the machine and the equipment. So we produce or we use the electrical equipment which is useful for this part, and for all the mechanical parts, we do this ignition risk assessment and produce it to have it in a safe way.
I'm pretty sure there are some people watching now wondering if their machine is up to date when it comes to explosion protection or even national regulations. What can they do when they're unsure about the safety of their plant?
Yeah, the best way is to contact us. We know about the national and international standards and regulations, and we can do testing and evaluation of machines and plants to see if everything is up to date, if everything is conform to the actual regulations, and if not, we can provide solutions for nearly everything to find a good technique for the customer to produce their new products with good machines.
Uwe, back to the topic of rebuilds and upgrades, modernizations. Is this also possible for third-party factories?
Yeah, as we know, third-party factories needs also rebuilds and upgrades, and so we set us in the position to have some retrofits, major retrofits for third-party machines. It's special our new weighing electronic NSC4 and the rotor lock system, and this was particularly for the Asian and African market.
And just to give us an example, a little story to tell, how old was the oldest machine you've ever rebuilt?
Oh, that's hard to say. I have to remember, but I remember one thing, but this is not from 1973. We have a two-spout inline packer, and we retrofit it with the new MEC4 electronic. But this is not. I do not know if there's an older machine. But what I can say is we have just once sold a machine, a rotopacker, 6-spout rotopacker, to an Eastern German company. This was built in 1994. In 2011, it was transferred to a plant in Serbia. In between this time, we have retrofitted with new electronic, complete new electronic, and 5 years later, in 2016, we have installed new motors on it. And last year, we have retrofitted this machine with the ultrasonic sealing device. So this is a more or less 30 years old rotopacker, and today it has a technique more or less at a new machine, but with only 60% of the investment cost for a new machine. And this is maybe one thing to have in mind, and what I have told before, to calculate if the retrofit or the new machine makes more sense.
That's very impressive. So you invest in a machine once and then you have it for a lifetime. Thank you very much for the insights. And in case you're interested in knowing more about explosion protection, retrofitting, modernization of your machines, feel free to get in touch with our experts, with Guido and Uwe. They're very, very happy to help you out and explain even more in detail everything to you. Thank you very much to Ulde.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Bye.